another week, another show of Hawkeye with me, Dave O'Hara. Craig and Stacy Schroeder here with Fight with Flash. But before we get to them, let me give you a little preview of today's show. James Vandenberg going to join us, former Hawkeye quarterback. Jett Beachum, Fox 28 sports anchor, going to join us. Also, part two and the final part of head coach Rob Jeter, basketball coach at Western Illinois University, and the son of legendary Hawkeye and Green Bay Packer Bob Jeter. So full and tight packed show for you this week again, as always. Craig and Stacy, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Tough week last week at Ohio State, but we're moving onward and upward. Homecoming against Northwestern. Tough 54-10 loss at Ohio State. Homecoming. It's good to be back home, Craig, and good to be back talking about warm weather. Now going to cool fall-like weather. You've got the bourbon auction upcoming. You had a big presentation last week with the dance marathon, University of Iowa. So, folks, you can still donate online for that continually. But Fight with Flash Foundation via Facebook or fightwithflash.org. Craig, let's talk a little bit more about that bourbon auction, please.
Yeah, if anybody would ever want to be a part of the online bourbon, it's a Facebook group, so they would just have to reach out and friend me personally, and then I would send them an invite to it and then vouch for them to be able to be a part of the group. And that is coming up. The official days might be changing a little bit, but we're looking at late November, early December. So it's coming up really, really soon. I know we've all got the pictures and all the bourbons already lined up to be all for the event. So we're just working behind the scenes and then waiting for the final, basically about a 1 week out announcement for a push. And then our garage sale coming up November 19th. So that's going to be exciting. It's on a Saturday. So.
That's perfect. And Craig, big numbers from last year's bourbon online auction. Big numbers. Congratulations again from the golf tournament, Fight with Flash golf tournament. That's coming off the baseball classic. So things rocking and rolling for Fight with Flash Foundation, the power of Flash as always. Absolutely. But so Stace, thank you for that, Craig. So Stacy, tough prediction last week, but Craig and I rode with you, and I'm glad you fell on the sword, metaphorically speaking, for us for the 27-26 Hawkeye victory you predicted. But and Craig and I were with you. Hey, we were with you. Always want to stay positive. You almost got the combined score, 54-10. You had 53 of the 64 total. But so I got the online auction, as Craig and I talked about, and you always want to mention that too, with all the final items as well as the blankets are in now finally. So Fight with Flash Foundation via Facebook or fightwithflash.org. All right, Stace, it's pick time. Homecoming, Northwestern visiting Iowa. Northwestern's been a thorn in Iowa's side for many years under Pat Fitzgerald as a coach, as a former player there at Northwestern. What do you got for us this week?
Oh my gosh. And it's going to be another good one. Another good one, right? This one I'm going with 36-24 Hawks.
I love it. There it is right there. 36-24 Hawks. An offensive juggernaut. I like that.
Well, hey, our defense is going to do good things too. And the offense, I think they're going to make the turn this time. This is what's happening.
I can't argue with you when you're
Hawks.
Right. Craig and I were in
Hawks.
lockstep with you, Stace. I love it. Go Hawks indeed. Hawks are going to become 4-4 after this victory, as Stacy's predicting. So, Craig, Stacy, as always, Fight with Flash Foundation via Facebook or fightwithflash.org. Thanks so much and great seeing you guys again.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Very much my pleasure. You're welcome. So for Craig and Stacy Schroeder and Fight with Flash, I'm Dave O'Hara with Hawkeye. Back with more, and James Vandenberg, former Hawkeye quarterback, in just a few moments. Welcome back to Hawkeye with me, Dave O'Hara. There's our buddy James Vandenberg, former Hawkeye quarterback. James, let's get right to it right away. If the Hawks don't pay attention, these back-to-back losses to Illinois, the bye week, and then Ohio State, if they don't pay attention to homecoming this week and Northwestern, then two losses morph into 4, 5, and 6. So they've got to steady the ship, and I got to believe that's what's happening in the meeting rooms right now with QB1, whomever that is, and it hasn't been announced whether it's Padilla or Petrus. So I got to believe that's the vibe going on right now in the Iowa camp, right?
Well, yeah, I think you're hitting on it exactly. You don't want to get kind of negative momentum rolling. We come off a tough loss to Illinois. You go to Ohio State. We don't put our best foot forward. And ultimately, this has to get washed. As we've talked about in previous weeks, there's plenty to clean up. There's plenty to target. Everybody is got to try to basically erase what happened and move forward because, you don't want this to become a slide downhill.
And James, I know as we close out here with this week with you, I just want to get direct into the point. You've dealt with quarterback controversy somewhat during your career at Iowa.
Wait.
Had a tough year your senior
Is that
year.
when I was a freshman and we're talking about Stanley and Christensen? Take it easy here, Dave.
I never want to hold your feet to the fire. I'm glad to see you smile. So, but as you know, in your senior year too, and Marvin McNutt and I talked about this too, there's a lot of reasons, when you go through a 4-8 season like you did your senior year. But this year, what Padilla and what Petrus are going through. So again, as you've always said, I'm sure they're just saying, I got to do my job. Whether I'm starting, whether I'm backing up, even if I'm not playing, I still have to do my job. So I think you're the perfect guy to talk to about this. Maybe not to your liking, but I think it's very important to give that mindset from your perspective, please, James.
I think, Saturday was a great example of let's get off of Petrus's back. Clearly he didn't play good. I don't think he's going to sit there and tell you he played good, but Padilla came in and it's not a great spot. You're at Ohio State. But the quarterback is not the problem. They're not, unfortunately, maybe the solution. They're not so athletic to get us out of situations or something like that. But they are not the only problem. They're not some dual threat quarterback that's going to get us out of terrible situations. The problem is the whole unit is not operating well. And it's one guy isn't going to be able to basically make us score 40 points. This is a unit problem. This isn't, I'm going to be the one to press back. There's not somebody who's calling different X's and O's and we're going to score 40 points. That is absurd to think that. If we were just calling different plays, we'd be scoring a ton of points. Watch the unit. Watch the dropped balls. Watch the missed blocks. Watch the missed throws. It is across all 11 guys. And it's growing pains. It's a young O-line. It's injuries at receiver. It's across all those things. This is not one person's fault or one person's problem. And you will never convince me that if we swap out one person or one coordinator, that this is just going to go from 0 to 100.
I think that's well stated. And as we've always talked about, James, the most popular guy on campus is the next coordinator or coach or the backup quarterback. We know that. And I think you've nailed that perfectly. So when we talk about that moving forward, let's just stay to the task at hand. And I think you've encapsulated that perfectly. And I thank you for your candor because, again, we've all seen what you and some of your teammates went through a similar situation. And I thought you encapsulated that perfectly. So thank you very much. And I look forward to talking to you next week. And we'll have James Morris joining you and I again during this segment. So thanks so much, James.
Thanks, Dave. Have a good one.
Will do. So for James Vandenberg, I'm Dave O'Hara, and thanks again to James. We'll be back with more Hawkeyed in just a few moments.
Hi, I'm Joel from Tice Chevrolet. We've lived through some very interesting times the last few months. Ensuring everyone's safety is more important than ever. That is why we're participating in the Chevy Clean program. At your request, we will pick up your vehicle, service it, and return it after we've cleaned it using the current CDC guidelines. This is just another way to work towards exceeding your expectations. So give us a call and let us show you what it means to be part of the Tice Automotive family.
Who do you trust to produce the best yield? A seat company that's chasing technology or a seat company that's writing a book on it? Merschman Seeds is a leader in technology. We're independent and family owned. Our sister company, MS Technologies, provides access to world-class traits and genetics. And our starting line seed treatment is second to none. Who can you trust with your yields? Merschman Seeds, your friend in the field.
Welcome back to Hawkeye with me, Dave O'Hara. There you can see he is Hawkeye royalty, or at least by birthright anyway. He is Coach Rob Jeter, head men's basketball coach at Western Illinois University, son of Bob Jeter, former Hawkeye great. And Coach, first and foremost, thanks for joining us. We're catching you during the middle of basketball season. I know you started practice on last Saturday. What a time to be a sports fan. But I tell you, when you talk about your experience growing up in that household with, and the great coaches your dad had, of course, the Lombardi years, as you talk about, what a storied career you had, or your dad had, and you had growing up. But now I got to talk to you about your basketball life, being an assistant coach or playing for Bo Ryan before he went to University of Wisconsin, your college days. talk about a coaching legend. I wouldn't put him up with Evashevsky or Lombardi, but still a big time coach in his own right and a legendary figure in Bo Ryan.
Well, I think what you're alluding to is I've been very blessed, very fortunate to have such strong role models in my life and people that are great mentors. My mom was a school teacher. So in our household, we had that fierce competitor in my dad that was all about, competing. And as long as you competed hard, he was fine, win or lose, but you had to compete. Then my mom on the other end was, was all about education, teaching and giving back. And, when I grew up, it wasn't just me and my brother in our household. We had, I'm probably not exaggerating when I say at least 20 different foster kids that lived with us growing up. So we had a great balance. And then when I got into sports, I had a chance to play for Bo Ryan. And I don't know about Coach Evashevsky as much as you know, and I know a lot about Lombardi, but I would tell you that I would put Bo Ryan up there with any basketball coach that's in the Hall of Fame, because he is a Hall of Famer. And, just the things that he taught us about, the simple things about really competing. It was really almost an echo of what I had heard growing up. Take care of the little things, leave things better than what you found it. Pay attention to the details, making sure, you're better than what you were when you started. But sharing the basketball, all those things. So there were common themes in my life that have really, put a lot of, helped me accomplish a lot of great things. I'm very fortunate for all the coaches and in my family for all the lessons that I learned.
Let's talk about last year's experience when your Leathernecks of Western Illinois University played at Carver Hawkeye Arena against Fran McCaffrey. And I know personnel has changed on both teams this year. Talk about that experience last year against Coach Fran and the Hawkeyes of last year going into this year, and then give us a little preview into your team, please, Coach.
Well, first of all, I understand that there's a culture of success at Iowa. And so what we're trying to do is put our young men in situations where we can get better and we can be tested. When we came in there last season, we were, I think, 10-2 at that time. Had played at DePaul, played a Big East opponent, and I've never been afraid to take on challenges that way. And it's really about having our young men, give them good experiences. So I know when I came up to Iowa, and I know anytime that I'm going to face a McCaffrey team, they're going to have great offense. They're going to be able to score the basketball. You're going to have your defense is going to be tested. I think he has a culture of guys playing really hard together, and there's a development there. And I think that's what you saw in Murray, not just a surprise, but development. Luka Garza, the Murray, you mentioned those two. You personally saw firsthand the development of those players. So as a coach, for me, when I'm scheduling, I'm trying to find those types of challenges. And definitely it was always fun to come up to Iowa. They're a short ride for us. We get a nice little paycheck to come back to Macomb with, and just hopefully we give them a good game. And it was a really good learning experience for our team last season.
Talk about your experience in the Big Ten and in your basketball life and moving it into this year's team, and talk a little bit more about your Leathernecks from a personnel standpoint, please, Coach.
Yeah, well, last season for us was we started off with a bang, right? We go out to Nebraska. You talk about Big Ten, and we had an opportunity, and we won the game on a big three-pointer late in the game. So it was to start the season with a road win against a Big Ten opponent was outstanding for our group. This program it's on a rebound. We are definitely rebuilding this program. And year 2 was phenomenal. Now year 3 we have to continue that, and it had been down a bit. I think we have things on the right track, and we understand who we are. We're Leathernecks. We're in Macomb. It is for us, it's beautiful. I'm sure when people come through here, they're like, okay, where am I? We embrace that. We really do embrace that. We have great people here. We have great bones and structure to what we want to do. And now we just have to find the right personnel. And I feel really good about the group that we have. We're a lot more athletic. Probably don't have that ability to go on the deep scoring runs like we did last season, but I really feel like we can guard better, so we can defend. And that's more to my Big Ten roots. We points per possession, making sure you're taking care of the basketball, deep shot clock type of opportunities, making sure you get back and build a fort. Those types of things are more to my roots, and I think I have a team that fits my personality more.
Is head coach Rob Jeter of Western Illinois University, the Leathernecks. And coach, legacy of your family, the Jeter name at the University of Iowa, your dad, Bob Jeter. I can't even begin to say thank you enough. I got greedy with your time and did double the time I promised you I would, but what a story. And I promise you I'm going to have you back whenever it fits in your schedule. I can't even begin again to say thank you enough, but also the best of luck and good fortune wish to your team this year. You got to head in the right direction. I can wish you continued success.
Well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate you giving me an opportunity to talk a little bit about Iowa and the Packers, of course. Big Packer fan over here in Illinois. I got to be careful, but I've got some backup, and in our Leathernecks. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome, and thank you. So for Coach Rob Jeter at Western Illinois University head men's basketball coach, I'm Dave O'Hara. Back with more Hawkeye in a few moments.
To have a strong finish, you need an excellent start. It's true on the track and also in the field. That's why Mershman Seeds works tirelessly to deliver cutting-edge technology year after year. Introducing Starting Line, Mershman Seeds' latest advancement in seed treatment, now providing added protection from white mold and sudden death syndrome all season. Ask for Starting Line seed treatment from Mershman Seeds, your friend in the field.
Hi, I'm Joel from Tice Automotive Family. We are living through some of the most interesting and challenging times many of us have ever seen. Knowing who you can rely on is more important than ever. Many of us turn to our families to get us through, and the same holds true here. From our fair, upfront pricing to exceptional service after the sale, we truly want to exceed your expectations. So give us a call or stop by and let us show you what it means to be part of the Tice Automotive family.
Make next harvest your best harvest with Mershman Seeds. First, our connection to MS Technologies makes us an industry leader for Enlist E3 soybean genetics. Second, Starting Line seed treatment, our most advanced seed treatment, comes standard with added protection against both sudden death syndrome and white mold. Third, upgrade with Saltril and Trunemco for maximum protection against sudden death syndrome and soybean cyst nematodes. There's only one leader in soybean technology, Mershman Seeds, your friend in the field.
Welcome back to Hawkeye with me, Dave O'Hara. There he is, Jett Beachum, as you see, CBS 2, Fox 28, straight from the Iowa football presser this afternoon. Jett, great seeing you.
Great seeing you as well, Dave.
Thank you so much. Thanks for being here as always. So let's talk football. You just came from the football presser today. Tough loss last week. What did you get today from Media Day, please?
Yeah, so obviously we saw two different quarterbacks in the last game. Quarterback situation's still not resolved, so still don't know who the quarterback is. We'll probably actually find out, I think, game time decision, really. Kirk did say, obviously, they want to see him through practice. They'll probably make a decision Friday. We probably won't find out until one of them trots out there and the radio guys maybe get to us, right? So that's kind of one thing. Terry Roberts out, but defense has been playing pretty well without him anyway. They did against Ohio State. Don't see any difficulties there, especially with the Northwestern offense that's truly not that great.
Hoping.
I think that's hopefully kind of the good thing about this opponent. You know, you face three opponents now in the past 4 games that were, have 3 of the best defenses. 3 of them are ranked, and now you're going against a Northwestern team. So maybe there's a chance to, kind of lay off, and use the struggles that you've had and kind of work towards another opponent that's not as good.
Working hard to keep it positive here on my end, but we all know Northwestern, especially with Pat Fitzgerald, I said it in the earlier segment, as a former player at Northwestern, as a linebacker, and as a coach, he has been a thorn in the Hawkeye side for a number of years. So let's get back to the players today. You said Deontay Vines was available, so sorry to hear about Terry Roberts, but Deontay Vines back again, and you said great vibe, also Arlen Bruce. So give us a little insight on those, please.
Yeah, so Deontay Vines, obviously a guy that's had his fair share of injuries. He tore, I think it was an ACL, or he tore something, or at least early on in his career, so he was out for a bit. Then good news, raves coming out about him at camp. I think broke his left wrist, thumb, somewhere around there. So then he's been nursing that, and of course you need that with a receiver, right? So he was out. He was able to run, his routes, and he mentioned today, he wasn't tired or anything or gassed in the Ohio State game because all he's been able to do is run, right? And do his routes and stuff like that. He was able to get his first catch, so that was good from Alex Padilla. And he's a very confident kid. I mean, this is a guy that you can tell he's from Connecticut, kind of like, in the Ragaini kind of phase where not a lot of people didn't have a lot of offers, and not a lot of people expected a lot of him, but Iowa gave him a chance, and I think he's been biting. chomping at the bit to get his chance. And I think he's a guy that they've been really high on and someone they're excited about. And moving towards Arlen Bruce, obviously it'd be exciting to have someone else as a receiver as opposed to just going to Sam Laporta all the time. Arlen, obviously a guy that, he's one of the most honest individuals out there, and he's a great kid, great to talk to, and knows and even admits that, they do feel frustration on offense because they see the defense constantly doing their job and helping them out even when they falter. He mentioned, those 4 drives in the first half where Ohio State takes it in the 35, all 4 of those drives, and the defense holds them to a field goal every single drive.
Yep.
And he mentions, we just have to be better. We understand that they're kicking their butts out there. They're doing their jobs, and we're not. And we need to do their job.
I think that is so well framed when you talk about Arlen Bruce and Deontay Vines both.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. But now, folks, we're going to talk about what Kirk Ferentz last weekend, post-game presser, an Ohio State reporter pressed him quite a bit about changes during the season, changing coordinators, position changes. Kirk Ferentz said, I don't believe in doing that during the middle of the season. So I think we can just kind of say, let's just focus on football. I think you gleaned the same thing I did, right, Jett?
Yeah, and here's the thing. Kirk's been pressed about this for weeks now. Brian was pressed about it during the bye week, when the media had a chance to talk to him too. Finally, someone from outside the Iowa media bubble did the same thing. And Kirk has been forefront and has said the same answer. We're going to keep going things the way they're doing. I haven't done this in my 24 years. We'll make a decision at the end of the year. And, of course, we do know, at least when it comes to the Brian Ferentz, Gary Barta is technically a supervisor due to Iowa's nepotism policy. So, yes, Kirk can decide to fire him, but if Kirk doesn't want to fire him but Gary Barta feels a different way, Gary Barta obviously has the decision at the end of the season. I think it's going to ultimately fall down to Gary Barta at the end of the year, but we're going to have to wait until the end of the year, and it's becoming pretty apparent that this is going to continue the way it's been going for 5 weeks and then maybe possibly a bowl, a few more weeks after that.
And I think you've really, as you said, the Iowa media pool has done a great job of asking the questions. And if they dance around, and that's up to Kirk and Brian both to do that, they have that right. But when a national guy presses him, and so I'm guessing Kirk didn't say a whole lot different today, right, in the press availability?
No, it's all the same. I mean, really, he is steadfast in what he's done here and how things have worked. And, of course, he brings up past years about how it didn't work this year and then, it worked that next year. And, there's examples of Iowa faltering and struggling one year and then going up, the next year. But in my opinion, you can't rest on past laurels. I think, obviously, it's nice that he's been here for 24 years. He's done nice things here. But you can't just use former presidents to expect that something's going to happen, because if you expect that and then they're again one of the worst offenses in the country next year, then what do you do next year?
And you bring up a great point. When you go back to your past, when things are going really well, don't they always say, hey, we don't look back to the past?
Yes.
So, and
they did the same thing with us, right?
That's exactly right.
One game at a time. Well, it's 1 year at a time. Well, again, coach speak.
It's coach speak, and I get it, but I just hope everybody remembers that door swings both ways.
It does.
And I'm glad you pointed that out, and it's great stuff that you're here at least being forthright. They're doing the best they can. I get it from a coaching and an administrative level.
Yeah, I get it.
But I also get the fans' frustration, and what's happening on the field is not coming up to speed, and that's what really needs to be addressed. So hopefully that changes against Homecoming Northwestern this week. Jett Beachum.
Of course.
Great. Thanks for being here as always. He is Jett Beachum, CBS 2, Fox 28, straight from the Iowa football presser today. Greatly appreciate him. Stay tuned right after this show. He's got Eye on the Hawks, which is after us, and great stuff there too. So he's Jett Beachum on Fox 28, CBS 2 sports anchor there. Also thanks to James Vandenberg, Rob Jeter, and Craig and Stacy Schroeder, and to you, the viewers. So for Hawkeye, I'm Dave O'Hara. That's all from us. Thanks to all of you. And as always, thanks for staying tuned at the end of the program for these rolling credits to give our advertisers and sponsors the attention and credit they so richly deserve. And as always, to our aforementioned guests and to you, the viewers. That's all from us at Hawkeye. Thanks to all of you.